Donald Trump and his mentee, Stephen Miller. This is a story of a guy named Luis Leon, 82 years old in Pennsylvania. He has been an Allentown legal resident since 1987 when he was given political asylum. See if you can find this story and just put it up. He was tortured under the Chilean dictator, the benevolent Augusto Pinochet. It's in The Guardian. He lost his wallet, which had the physical green card that confirmed his legal residency. He is a legal immigrant, a documented immigrant in this country for longer than all of those fascists in that Jubilee have been alive. In this country, I think longer probably than Stephen Miller has been alive. How old is Stephen Miller?
I'll look it up.
39.
Pretty close.
Around the same year.
Stephen Miller was like 2.
Yeah.
He was, again, tortured by an authoritarian dictator, Augusto Pinochet, because apparently that's what dictators sometimes end up doing. He goes to make an appointment at customs enforcement to get a new green card. When he arrives at the office on June 20th, he was handcuffed by 2 immigration ICE officers who led him away from his wife without explanation. She herself was kept in the building for 10 hours until relatives picked her up. Then, apparently, sometime after Leon was detained, a woman purporting to be an immigration lawyer called the family claiming she could help, but did not disclose how she knew about the case or where Leon was. This is obviously either someone officially associated with ICE or maybe one of these ICE officers' friend trying to scam this family.
This is how, like, the mafia operates. They're posing as somebody to extract some sort of, like, viable information and going outside of traditional channels. This is how our government is acting.
Then, on July 9th, the same woman called them again, claiming that Leon had died. And then, a day or two later, a week later, they heard from a relative in Chile that Leon was alive, but now in a hospital in Guatemala, which is a country that he has no connection to. Just for those of you who are Trump fans or fascists, Chile is a different country than Guatemala. They may be in the same hemisphere, and they may be south of Mexico, but they are actually different countries. Chile is in South America, while Guatemala is in Central America. Just so that you know. He lived for almost 40 years, and he worked in leather manufacturing, raised a family, had since retired. This is so effed up. I don't even know what to say. This is how desperate they are to provide numbers for their benevolent leader, Stephen Miller.
Yeah. And Human Rights Watch had a report that came out this morning. Frankly, this has been enabled by the passage of the Lake and Riley Act, which allowed for this explosion of detention of individuals who are just merely suspected of things, which gives this paper thin pretext for the Trump administration. But there was a report that in these 3 detention facilities in Florida that there's essentially torture and humiliation going on, including inmates that were shackled with their hands behind their back, being forced to eat off of a chair with a paper plate without the use of their hands, like dogs. So, During another instance, officers made men eat while shackled with their hands behind their backs after forcing the group to wait hours for lunch. We had to bend over and eat off the chairs with our mouths like dogs, one man said.
And this is only going to get worse. I mean, as scumbags as ICE is right now, as the people who sign up for this stuff, as much as they're scumbags, and they're scumbags, you're going to get even bigger losers, even bigger scumbags, who are going to be having to fill these spots, these new 10,000 spots that are going to open up. This is what's happening. I don't know how it gets better, to be honest with you. You're going to have to. You're not going to be able to root out these things. You need to close this agency.
Abolish ICE. And I mean, we're also going to see an increase. He's been given the ability to do it via the Lake and Riley Act. Then the explosion of the budget by multiple exponential increases for ICE, making its budget larger than that of Israel's military, if I'm not mistaken.
Or the FBI.
Or Brazil's military too, which is like one of the more populous countries in the world. And Trump's going to do more of this as he gets more unpopular. Like his popularity is going to keep going down. We're already seeing increases in prices at places like Walmart because this is around the time that tariffs were supposed to hit. There's going to be an increase in prices. He's below water on basically every issue set, including immigration. But now he has the means to be much more authoritarian than he was the first time. And he's going to rely on these tactics as Democratic popular opinion strays even further from him. So buckle up.
Here is Fox News has embedded with ICE. I guess Dr. Phil, is he sick or something? He can't ride along with these guys. Fox News has embedded with ICE. And the free state of Florida, where if you have anybody working on your property, be prepared for ICE to be literally driving around your neighborhood, checking their papers. This is clip number 2.
Yeah, I messed up and switched the 10-second one in. 1 second.
Okay, we'll find that other one. But understand, right now, Trump's immigration policies and deportation policies are underwater, like Emma said.
Yeah.
And a lot of this starts with a couple of congresspeople and a senator going down and trying to highlight what's happening with folks who are sent to CCOT. Trump administration's is, according to polls, 52% say that Trump's trying to deport more people than you expected. 37% what you expected. Now, I imagine of that 52% too, that is even some Democrats who were like, I didn't realize he would be this bad. People just didn't take him that seriously.
Oh, and this question's interesting too. Who has Trump been prioritizing for deportation? Because the Trumpies that I talked to over 4th of July were all thinking it was just dangerous criminals, 53 to 47. Now it's 44 to 56. I can't help but think that if the Democrats were more aggressive at messaging, that they could split this a little bit further.
100%. And they will not do it. They will not do it because they don't have an immigration policy that is distinct from Trump's, other than let me slide in that small delta. That's where we are. They've got to be aggressive about an immigration policy that is different from Trump's, which is let's give people a path to citizenship. The polling is even there. Let's give people a path to citizenship. We do not have a system to do that. If we can afford $200 billion for customs then we have the money to actually create a system that will process people, vet them for being criminals, but allow them to come here, work, and become citizens. Here is Fox embedding with ICE agents in Central Florida.
Hi, Dana Marie. Good morning.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Construction is booming in Florida, especially in and around the area of the Villages, as you mentioned, the world's largest growing retirement community. So we joined ICE as they went to this housing development unannounced after they opened an investigation.
We're talking to everybody out here. Are you a citizen of the U.S.?
Agents moved from house to house approaching workers. ICE describes the interaction as a consensual and optional conversation since they didn't have a warrant. Agents question their legal status and those who couldn't provide
Pause it for a second. Pause it for a second. Oh, hello, masked guy wearing a military vest, carrying several firearms. I'm so glad this is a consensual conversation that we're going to have. This is wonderful.
These goons.
Oh,
my
let me
God.
introduce you to my children. This is such a wonderful...
A disgrace.
All of the consensual conversations I have are with masked men with weapons in military fatigues.
Sticking his gloves on. God.
ICE describes the interaction as a consensual and optional conversation since they didn't have a warrant. Agents question their legal status and those who couldn't provide valid immigration documentation were fingerprinted on site, part of a process.
Pause it for a second. Oh, since this is so consensual, let me take your biometric information while we're here.
Give it to Peter Thiel.
I mean... the idea that we're like 10 years away from like Jade Helm, where conservatives were so convinced that the Obama administration was going to send in the military to take over Texas, as if like Texas is not part of the United States anyways, but they're okay with going around and fingerprinting people who don't have their papers on them. I wonder if these guys had consensual conversations with people who were, I don't know, white.
Yeah, I for one got to say that I'm shocked that the Trump administration doesn't have a very good grasp about consent.
Exactly.
Legal status and those who couldn't provide valid immigration documentation were fingerprinted on site, part of a process to verify identities through a national immigration database. ICE says they opened an investigation after concerns from community members.
We've received a lot of tip line reporting on the, hiring practices of a lot of companies in the area, and so that's what we're doing today. We're obtaining a lot of license plates, company names, to be able to follow up on a lot of investigations are going to launch as a result of today's actions.
Scumbags.
This marks the first worksite enforcement operation of its kind in the state of Florida. Officials made it clear it will not be the last. Most workers did comply with officers' requests, but over 30 ran away. According to HSI Tampa, agents talked to 361 construction workers yesterday, but arrested 33. 4 of them have a felony for coming back to the U.S. after being deported. And Dana, the operation, it didn't end there. Agents also visited local businesses to let them know that inspections are on the way.
You know what I want to see? Let's get everybody in the Villages to take a vow that if you hear anything about some of your neighbors cheating on their taxes, which incidentally is an actual felony, that you will turn them in. If you have suspicions, can we turn them in? What about since being in this country without documentation is akin to a traffic ticket, how about we turn in our neighbors who we think might be speeding?
I wonder how many people don't live there most of the year, but keep it as their primary residency for income tax.
Oh,
That
6
would
months
be
in a
interesting.
day.
I think people should start to keep records of how long their neighbors are in town. God, what scumbags. Every single person in that video, the network that embeds with them, those scumbag ICE agents, and those scumbags who called in.
The neighbors, like literally
The community.
racist grandmas and grandpas staring outside their window in the villages, in the retirement community to see if anyone brown walks by.
It's 400,000 former managers. You know, people who were bosses. Who have nobody to boss around.
Some of them had pool cleaning companies.
So they're going around their golf carts looking for things to manage.
Yeah.
It's no surprise. I mean, I'm looking at Micah McComb's LinkedIn here. Homeland Security investigations, 10 years, 9 months. It's no surprise that this boondoggle, these national security boondoggle agencies have just turned into fascist Gestapos, just like everybody on the left said they would, and that there actually wasn't any real reason to make new law enforcement agencies staffed up with these kind of pigs to keep us safe from bin Laden. Like, what a fucking joke.
Also, I mean, we should note that, like, as we're building concentration camps in that state, part of what is, like, dehumanizing prior to some of the worst crimes and genocides is, like, the inability for ethnic minority groups or the groups being targeted to make money and to, like, have businesses in that country. And they're also, when they're targeting Latino people at their places of work, they're making it impossible for them to go to work without fear, which is a part of otherizing people and taking them out of, like, the traditional economy in a way that makes it easier to do even more horrible things to them.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.